What's going on, everybody? It's your boy DJ Arco.
And I am the queen, and you are tuned into Boss Talk.
And today we have another one of our special guests, our special
Yeah.
road skaters in the skate community from Venice Beach.
Mhm.
He was also one of the people who was on the documentary Roller Dreams. And so we have with us today Mr. James Rich, or as he said, some people call him Jimmy Rich, or AKA Buck Wild. So what's happening, my man? You good?
How you doing? How you doing? It's a pleasure to be here with you guys today.
Pleasure.
Thank you for
Mhm.
inviting me. It is an honor.
Most definitely. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Yeah, definitely.
Because as I mentioned, we saw you in the movie. We were checking you out,
Hmm.
and we're gonna get to that in a minute. But we always like to start off with our signature question, and that is, how long have you been roller skating?
I've been roller skating over 40 years. I started when I was a kid uh, in the garage. I used to play hockey on metal wheels back in the day, the
Mm,
Street Kings,
mhm,
making
mhm,
sparks and stuff like that. And then I stopped doing it for a
mhm,
little while, school and everything else, neighborhood stuff. And then I started boogie boarding in Venice in around 79, 78. And I would walk past the skaters. I'd see Mad and
mhm,
little Terrell and everybody else out there. And I was a photographer as well. I like to take a lot of photography
mhm,
and uh, a lot of it really inspired me to just shoot them. And I started shooting them one day, but
Mm.
I was like, I really want to skate. I want to skate,
mhm,
And
mhm,
this was back in 1981, I believe,
mhm,
early 81. And but I've been watching them, and I was like, man, I want to do that. I really want to do that. And so my friend walks out of, I get to the house, my roommate walks out of his room with a pair of blue with a yellow stripe on them, just
nah,
hideous looking skates.
the
And
racing
I was
stripes.
like,
Okay.
my eyes lit up like it was Christmas.
Mhm,
And I put them on, and they fit perfect. And
mm,
that told
mm,
me right then and there, well, something's up here. So I went out my first day,
mhm,
and I mean, it had been so long that I sucked.
mhm. E-
I fell. I was whoop whoop. I was like, I was all
Frankenstein.
over the place. And whenever something like that happens to me, it becomes a challenge.
mhm, mhm.
Okay.
And but the greatest thing about it was, like, of course, Matt was like, "Who are you?" and
Sounds like him.
and I'm looking up, and I'm looking at this massive dude, and I'm
Mhm,
like, oh man, what do I do?
yeah.
But again, it was a challenge, so I just slipped and
Mhm,
slide and everything all over the
yeah.
place. And the whole goal was to stay off the concrete.
Mhm,
And but the coolest thing was, though Mad was intimidating, he was accepting.
mhm,
And I could
Mm.
tell that it was a great community of people,
mhm,
and that they were warm, and they invited me at the end of the day to a party. Now I'm not gonna lie, I was shy. I was
mhm,
very shy.
mhm,
I went to a predominantly white high school.
mhm,
I was one of the only African Americans there,
mhm,
and though I was popular because I had been there for so long, I was still shy.
mhm.
But that day, I happened to get 5 girls' telephone numbers.
Hey, well, let me
Hey.
ask you this, because this is something that I had thought of. Now, you had never skated on Venice Beach. You know, you've done your roller skating in the metal skates that could
Mhm.
possibly give you gout if you cut yourself or something.
Yes.
Now, while you was on your way down there to Venice Beach, did you have an idea of what you thought it was gonna be? Like, you was like, man, I'm gonna go down there, I'm gonna skate around. Everybody's gonna look at me like, oh man, this dude is cold, and so forth. So, what was your premonition of what you thought it was gonna be versus what it was?
I was scared to death.
Mm.
I thought I was gonna get out there. Now I did think I was gonna be a little better than I was at
Mhm.
first, which
Mm,
was a rude awakening.
mhm,
But I was again challenged. So I was like, I don't care what those people think. I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna do this. But once I started getting accepted, and once the day took place, and I started meeting people. I met Sean Marsh, who's been there for a very long
Mm.
time. I met Matt. I met Terrell.
mhm,
They kind of nobody really said anything. I met Kyle Johnson, you know, a lot of the original skaters,
Mhm.
and but they were so accepting, and they invited me to a party
Mhm.
that night, and I went and I partied with them, and then a young man, Sean Marsh, again, who's been skating there, who is in Roller Dreams. Uh, we kind of hung out and became best of friends, still are best of friends to this day.
Mhm.
And as well as Terrell and Mad, they are all
Mhm.
still my family, some of my
Mhm.
best friends and mentors. And I never imagined that my life would take this turn. It changed my life. I was
Mhm.
in a not a great situation. I grew up in the not in the hood. When I was younger, I grew up in the hood. By the time I turned 10, I moved to Culver City.
Mhm.
Again, my life started to change, but some of the people that I was hanging out with were on a bad course,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I knew that. I knew that. Uh, I lived on my own since I was 15 years old. I moved out. You know, I was a hard headed kid.
Mhm.
And when I got to Venice and I met this family, this extended family, and they accepted me, I said, I'm gonna roll with this. And I never looked back,
Mhm.
and here I am,
Well, one
blessed.
thing you said was you said your friend, your roommate, came out with these skates. Were the
Yeah.
skates for you or you just took the skates?
No, he actually came out and handed me the skates and said, try these on.
Mm.
Cool.
Uh,
Mm.
his name
Cool.
was Dwayne Pryor. He's still a friend of mine to this day as well. And I put them on and they just fit like a glove. So when I
Wow.
got out to Venice and I'm whoop, 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 you know, all over the
Mhm.
place, it was still a blessing for me to experience this,
Yeah.
and I just took it from there, and I started learning with the fellas, with Matt and Terrell, and they started, you know, integrating me into the system.
Mhm.
We partied all the time. It was a party. When I say
It seemed
Venice
like
Beach
it was
was
a
a
party
Yeah.
every
party,
day.
it was
Yeah.
a party, and I
Wow.
I was I was used to I really wasn't used to partying that much, but whenever I did go to a party, I would go to a party at nighttime. You know, it
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
Mhm.
8 o'clock until 2 in the
Yeah.
morning.
Mhm.
College parties, high school parties, and things like that. But when
Mhm.
I got to Venice, all of a sudden I started partying in the daylight. There was people surrounding us. We would have huge crowds of people, and I was like, I'm not gonna look like a fool out here.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
prayed
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
day. By the time I turned 19 years of age, I moved right there down the street. You can see my apartment from the skate area,
Mm.
wow.
and I got my own place. I started
Nice.
my own little business. I'm an
Nice.
entrepreneur still to this day,
Mhm.
which I'll talk a little bit about later
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
on.
gonna
I
ask you
have
about that too. Yeah.
a
Mhm.
company called BuckWIld Skates that I'm,
Mhm.
I'm starting now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm trying to come out with my own roller skate, my own wheels.
Wow.
Mhm.
I want to make a good quality skate for the community out there. Maybe work with one of the major skate companies to do so. But anyway, so I moved to Venice, and that was it. I started skating
Mhm.
almost every single day. I started going at it. I started putting in effort, putting in work. Like my logo says, and like my saying is legends are made, not born.
There you go.
Mhm.
And
There you
and I
go.
started putting in work. I put in work with Terrell and Mad. We started skating, and here we are.
Yeah.
So the shyness went out of the window the first night you went to the party. You was done.
Well, I can't even tell you what happened at that party.
It just opened up your
It
eyes
was
to a whole
it
new
was
world.
it was an amazing experience. Let's
Mm.
just say, I knew I was going to enjoy this crew.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's what's funny because roller skating does that for a lot of people who've never really been exposed to the skate culture. Once they come to it, it's like they've just been enlightened and they just fall in love with it. And some people just dive right in, and some people, they still keep their distance. But those who are like completely down for it, they're like, oh man, this is it right here. And it's like
This
it
is
just
it.
changes their whole
Yeah.
life.
But I think
Yeah.
in the case of Venice Beach though, it's kind of like a culture. Like once you
Hmm.
come there, it's like if you're real,
It
you just
sucks you right in.
yeah, you're
Hmm.
integrated into that
Yeah.
world, and it's just like now I got to be there every day, and this is what we need to do, and it just
Yeah.
Yeah,
sucks you
there's
in.
no race, sex, there's nothing.
Hmm.
Everybody, if you're a skater, you're a skater. You're
And
not
that's it.
black,
Yeah.
white. You're not
Yeah.
male, female.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter. Whatever you are, if you're a skater, you're a skater. That was wonderful to me.
Hmm.
That was
Mhm.
amazing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for you, and we actually asked Matt and Terrell this when they closed down the beach and took it from you guys for that period of time. How
Mhm.
was it for you?
Well, at I've gone through a lot in my life, ups and downs. I was no saint, believe that. I've
Mhm.
done, all kinds of things. So at that time when they took it away, I believe I was going through some other stuff in my life. I also was going to school. I went back to film school, graduated film school.
Mhm.
Um, and so I had other things going on in my life as well. And so it was difficult at first because they were taking something from me that meant a lot to me,
Mhm.
but I had other things going on. Um, we weren't sure that they were going to give us another skate area. We thought that they were saying, "Hey, we're gonna. This is how we get them out of here. We take
Mm.
we take
Yeah.
their place that they can skate. Either they go find someplace else to skate, or we don't really care."
Mhm.
So we ended up having to actually go to town meetings, things like that. We went and we went and fought for that piece. They were not going to give it to us.
Mm.
We kind of gave them the feeling that, listen, you can't take this away from us like an easement, a pathway to a location. If someone builds a house, I don't care if that easement goes through that house, you cannot take it away. If they need to get from one place to the other,
Mhm.
you have to let them continue to do that if they've been doing it for a certain period of time. And that was our fight. We've been doing this
Okay.
for a long time. You allowed us to do this. You
Yeah.
allowed it to become a part of our life. You can't take it away from us. You're taking a livelihood for a lot of us. We were
Mhm.
traveling the world. We were doing commercials. That was our area to practice. That was our entertainment. We were one of the largest attractions in the world. When it came to street performers and things like that, we were free. We
Mhm.
didn't charge people money. We didn't ask for money until later on when we started doing Bad Boys, things like that. So it was an easement technically.
Mhm.
So when we
Okay.
went to the city planning and went and fought for this, we had told them, listen, you can't take away something that you've given us. This is
Right.
something that has
Mhm.
touched our heart. You can either have us here or we can be in your house
Mhm.
stealing
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
guys have lawyers, or how did you, or you just kind of fumbled through the
No, we
process
went and we
yourself?
we stood in front of the panel and we spoke about it. We talked about it, and there were several officials that really had watched us many times and
Hmm.
really liked what we did. And it was a pretty quick decision for them to say, "Listen, they're absolutely right. We can't take this
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
let's let's build something for them to
Mhm.
go and continue to do what is a
Mhm.
major attraction around the world. Venice Beach is one of the largest tourist attractions
Mhm.
in the world, and
Mhm.
we were a main factor in that. We had helped
Yeah, I was gonna say
change that
that's a
community
highlight.
and give
Mhm.
it life.
Mhm.
And they said we can't take that away from
Yeah.
them. We can't take that away from the people around the world that now know Venice Beach skaters as one of the most major
Mhm.
tourist attractions in the world.
And you know what? That's really good that they kind of came to a resolution of,
Yeah.
because that's a hard pill to swallow when you're given something and you're
Mm.
told it's yours,
Mm.
and they're like, hey, you guys can cultivate it, it's yours, we're not going to bother you, and then all of a sudden they snatch it away
Oh,
from you.
oh, 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 they bothered us.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we know about
Yeah, I'm
They
pretty
that.
sure they
bothered
bothered
us.
y'all. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, we already know
Constantly
about
trying to
that
get
part.
that out of jail.
Yeah, we already know about that portion, because trust me, we heard that. But for them to
Yeah.
just snatch it away from you and
Yeah,
then leave you guys kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
But it's
and we
good
went
that they
above
And
and
not
actually
police.
provide
came
an
back,
alternative.
right, and not give an alternative. And that's probably another part of the hard part, is when you're not giving an alternative. They just
Mhm.
kind of leave you on your own. But at least they came back and they heard what you guys were saying, and they did eventually give you guys an alternative. Because as you mentioned with Venice Beach, roller skating is kind of, whenever
Synonymous.
people hear of Venice Beach, they do
Mhm.
think roller skating,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that
absolutely.
is a part
Venice
of
Beach,
Venice
Muscle
Beach.
Beach,
Hmm.
basketball,
Yep.
roller skating.
There you
Yeah.
go. There
Yeah.
you go. So that's great.
And they realized, again, we are an attraction that doesn't ask people for anything. A lot of
Yeah.
Hmm.
people on the boardwalk there,
Mhm.
they're peddling their goods. You have to be an artist in order to ask for something. We never did that. We were
Yeah.
out there. We were free entertainment,
Mhm.
and the people would come. I mean, we've had people sit there for hours and hours. Um, I've gone to people's houses. I've been invited to all kinds of things. I've gone to people's houses and seen pictures of myself on the wall. It's an
That's
amazing
cool.
experience
Mhm.
to what we were going through and not realizing it. That was the cool thing
Right.
about it. Sitting here now talking to you about it, I would have never in a million years have had a thought this was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right,
That
right.
that I was going to be known in this community,
Mhm.
BuckWIld, a very
Mhm.
respected skater. I never thought of this that first day. I was like, and so, they say you put in your 10,000 hours, you do something for a long enough period of time, you're going to get good at it.
There you
I'm
go.
living proof.
There you go.
And I think part of the reason that they gave you guys something back was because the financial aspect for them, because you guys were bringing people down to the boardwalk. They were coming to the beach because people wanted to see. People
Mhm.
all over the world heard about you. So it was a financial, I'm sure, decision that,
Absolutely.
because the businesses around there, they profited from you guys
Mhm.
because as people
Absolutely.
came,
Mhm.
people shopped because
Mhm.
they stayed there all
Absolutely.
day. They watch you guys. So they had to eat, they had to drink, maybe they want to change
Hmm.
clothes.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
most
sure,
definitely.
yeah, it's
So
always financial
so
for
how
them.
was it when Roller Dreams came around?
Mhm.
How was it for you? Did they approach you, or did you just kind of get migrated into it, or how did that work?
Well, first of all, we have been approached many times. People saying, "Hey, I want to do a documentary about it." It got to the point where we were like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever."
Mhm.
Talk is cheap. If you
Mhm.
want to do something, bring us the idea, and we'll decide whether or not we want to participate in it. So when Kate came down and talked to us about it, we were again like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever." We didn't really take it serious.
Mhm.
Um, I was with a crew called the Bad Boys. There was several of us. We were street performers. We were hailed one of the best street performances in the country at one time. I would say pretty much in the world because the United States is top of the world.
Mhm.
And well, I don't know about right now, but so we when we started this film, Kate had approached us with it, and her thought was, "Where are all the white people at?"
Mm.
Mhm.
She had been told through Xanadu and all these other skate movies that Venice Beach was pretty
Mhm.
much a lot of white people skating around doing a bunch of,
Yeah.
Right,
and
flash
when she
dance
came
and
there
yep.
and saw a
Mhm.
lot of diverse ethnics, ethnicity, that's it. I'm not even trying that
Ethnicity.
word.
Ethnicity.
Ethnicities, and she saw people of all different kind of colors skating in the style that we were doing, which was dance and hip hop and choreography. She was like, "Where's Cher? Where's
Yeah.
Xanadu? Where's
Yeah.
and and
Oh, we lost video.
Oh, there
There
you
you go.
go.
here
Mhm.
I am, here I am." And she then was like, hold on, I need to find out what the true story is. I've been
Mhm.
Mhm.
duped, I've been hoodwinked,
Mhm. Mhm.
I've been bamboozled.
Wow.
And she came to us and said, "Listen, I just graduated film school. I'd like to do my directorial debut,
Mhm.
and I'd like to do a documentary on this." And we were like, "Well,
Mhm.
what you saying?" She goes, "I'm going to follow you around. I would like to come to your home. I'd like to meet your family."
Mhm.
And we were like, "Okay, again,
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
then after consistent, work, and all of a sudden she went out and put bulletins out all around the world saying, "If anybody has footage of the skaters, please send it to me." And she started
Mm.
Mhm.
receiving hours and thousands of
Oh,
hours of
wow.
footage of
Wow.
us that
That's
people have
interesting.
taken from around the world.
Mhm.
She also spoke to another man named Morgan who had been following us around throughout our career in skating with a camera, and he had got a lot of good footage. And she had so much material to work with. She had to come up with a story. Then she had to
Okay.
Mm.
figure out,
Mm.
how do I put this in an hour and a half to 2 hours? What
Yeah.
what
Mm.
what is what is one of the stories here amongst many?
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And a lot of the footage had me, Matt, Terrell, Larry,
Mhm.
Sally came in kind of. She had
Mhm.
to kind of, again, it was a movie, so she has to have some drama. She has to
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
a love
Mhm.
story.
Mhm.
It has
Yeah.
to be a roller coaster ride.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
so after going through all of this footage with the producer, Diane Ward, and really finding a way to tell a story, but also a way to tell a larger story, a bigger picture at the same time,
Mhm.
she came up with the concept of roller dreams.
Mhm.
Mhm.
How we were given this dream, this gift. How for several of us it was taken away,
Mhm.
um, and how it started, and she came up with Roller Dreams. And I got to tell you, I was I was scared at first because
Mm-hmm.
in a documentary they tell what they want to tell. They can tell the
Right.
truth,
Yeah.
and
Right.
we were not all saints.
Mhm.
Okay, we had all gone through all kinds of stuff in our life as we throughout the years of skating. Myself as well. I was again no saint,
Mhm.
and I was afraid that I could be my life revealed, you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
And
The parts
so
that
I
you
put
didn't
my
want
faith in
revealed.
her hands.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as well as Mad, Terrell, and
Yeah.
everybody else, Larry, you saw Larry's story.
Mhm.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the way she told it was such an emotional ride for us, such
Yeah.
an awakening. You
Mm-hmm.
saw how Mad, on our first, on the screening in Los Angeles, in a room full of all of our peers,
Mhm.
our story was told about this, and Mad's story no one had ever known. If you've seen the movie,
Yeah.
Wow.
no one knew this story about Mad and his
Mhm.
mother. No one knew about the
Mhm.
closet. No one
Mhm.
knew about any of this stuff.
Wow.
And Mad had not seen this movie. And
Mhm.
we're in this theater in Santa Monica, a massive theater with a massive screen,
Mhm.
seeing ourselves. And I mean, it was, I modeled for 6, 7 years.
Mhm.
Terrell is an actor. We never thought that somebody would make a movie about us. It's one thing to be in a movie,
Right.
but
Right.
to have a
Right.
movie on a big screen with you as the principal was overwhelming.
Yeah.
My date was my mother.
Okay.
I took my mother as my date. I wanted her to see this movie.
Nice.
I needed her support there. And at the end of the movie, she was so taken by it. She
Mhm.
looked at me, and my mother had never said anything like this to me before. She said, "Wow."
Mhm.
Mm.
She looked at me, and I started crying because my
Mhm.
mother had never really said to me, "Wow, son, you." She was proud of me,
Right.
Mhm.
and the movie itself was such an amazing roller coaster ride of all the
Mhm.
things that we've gone through, of
Mhm.
especially these principal characters, Duvall, to tell those stories individually and still fit them inside of this period of 30, 40 years. And for us to find out things about each other that we had never known
Mhm.
was, at the end of the screening, the theater was silent.
Mhm.
We were
Wow.
wondering, okay, what's going on here?
Say, do we
And
say anything?
it was a moment of silence. And now throughout the movie, I've heard, people
Yeah.
crying and everything. I'm crying, and and as we got called up, first of all, there was a standing ovation,
Mhm.
just a burst of cheers and everything, and we were like, I've got chills, my hairs are standing up on my arm. And as we got called up individually, and for people to be standing there and giving us, I'm almost getting emotional right now about it, to give us that recognition was amazing. I had never felt that feeling in all my life, to think that I had done something
Mhm.
finally throughout my life,
Mm.
that meant something, was overwhelming. So
Yeah.
as we get up on the panel, the question and answers, the Q&A panel with Kate and Diana, the producer and director, and to see Mad hold on to this microphone and just be so emotional. This was a
Mhm.
strong man.
Yeah.
Never ever had I seen him cry
Yeah.
or even have that type of emotion. All I remember is him picking people up by the shirts and
Mhm.
knocking,
Mhm. Mhm.
doing damage, or but being this saint, this he was an angel.
Mhm.
And to see this massive man break down and cry and not be able to speak, when he said in the interview with them that he could not talk, it was absolutely correct.
Yeah.
He held
Yeah.
the mic, and he had finally opened up. He had finally let the floodgates
Mhm.
flow. And I think it was one of the best things that could have ever happened to man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was known as this Hercules.
Mhm.
And now
Mhm.
people knew that he was a man. He was
Right.
just
Yeah.
like any other person out there.
Mhm.
He had feelings,
Yep.
and he showed them that day, and it was so touching. Uh, the questions and answers that they asked us, he couldn't answer any of them. We had to take the mic. We had to talk about him, and it took several different uh, screenings for him to finally be able to speak to an audience about what had happened, because it was such an amazing, it was such a touching experience for him. Um, it had revealed man.
Yeah. And for you, I'm sorry. For you, you said there were several different screenings. Did you have the same emotion each time? I know the first time is always going to
Yeah,
have, but the
yeah.
second and third time, did you get that same emotion?
I still get it now. I watch the movie every blue moon just to, because every now and then I'll catch something that I didn't catch on the time before.
Mhm.
And yes, every single time I still get that feeling of, wow, this was something great. This was we did something great. I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody out there
Yeah.
says. Venice Beach skaters are some of the best skaters in the world.
All right now.
We put in work,
Hey.
and when we go to a rink, we turn the rink out.
Hey, y'all
Okay.
heard
Now,
that.
I'm not saying there's not good skaters out there, because there's amazing skaters
Right,
out there. But
right.
when Venice Beach steps into the room, you're gonna take notice.
Okay.
And we got a lot of choreography. We got a lot of things that we do that are of OG style. And everybody has their own style. Venice is very original. We are Venice originals.
Nice, nice.
So yes, every single time I see that movie, I see something that touches my heart. It reminds me of what I've come from and how far I've come, and what everybody else has done for the skate community. And uh, uh, we demand respect.
Right, right. And I was
And
gonna say,
the movie gave it to me.
yeah, and I was gonna say, earlier you were speaking about how you had this massive man, and you guys were so used to him being strong and so forth. But that's just a testament that I always tell people too. It doesn't matter, especially as a man, doesn't matter how strong you are.
Mhm.
We all have feelings.
Yeah.
So but so for you, how has it changed? How has the movie changed your life?
Um, well, one, I didn't. When you're in something, you don't look from the outside in. You're
Yeah.
just doing it.
Right, right,
I mean, you
right,
see
right.
parts of me, I'm flirting with girls and all of this. But when you're doing it, you're not thinking about who
Mhm.
you are or what you're doing. You're just having a ball.
Right.
So to sit back now over at this time in my life and look back at it and start to remember some of the things, I got tickled. Really, I got a
Yeah.
kick out of it. I was like, wow, was I that guy?
It's like, dang, did I really
And
do that? Did I really do
did
that?
I really do that? But
Yeah.
then to see some of the moves that I used to do, some of the splits and skating, and I've in the last 6 7 months after seeing Roller Dreams, really, I had gained a little bit of weight. In the last 6 months, I've lost 30 pounds.
Mm.
I went back to skating. I said, I got to be able to
Okay.
do that again. I got to be able to alpha again. I got to be able to do my splits again, and my sit spins, and all of that stuff. And so the last 6 months, I've been really, really skating hard. And I'm back in rinks. I'm skating 4 days a week again. Got my back,
Hey, them
There
guns.
you
and
go.
I've lost 30 pounds, and I feel amazing. I'm skating every weekend now. And that's what Roller Dreams really did for me. It told me, yo, man, you can't let something that has affected so many people, something that people have looked up to you and saw you do, and especially the youngsters that are coming up, because I don't know if you guys know, but skating is kicking in hard again.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is going
Yeah.
through the roof,
Yeah.
and I have to be one of those mentors. I have to uh, represent what it used to be like, and give some of these youngsters out here encouragement to say, listen, if you put in work, you can become a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you're
Yeah.
losing weight. I know a lot of us right now we gaining weight being with the COVID.
Believe me,
Because right
it's
now,
hard. I made it a
like,
point.
yeah, because I'm gaining weight now. It's like I'm starting to get that stomach, that armrest stomach. When you fold your
Put
arms
them
and they
skates
can
on,
sit on
brother.
your stomach. That's what I'm starting to get. So, but I'm
Put
working on
them
it though.
skates on.
You know.
Watch your eating habits. It'll do it.
Yeah.
But the movie was a very touching experience for me. It reminded me of where I had been, what I had gone through, where I was at.
Mm,
I could see certain parts of it, where certain things in my face, how I changed, like Larry,
mhm.
how what we evolved to. And
Mhm.
the cool thing about the movie is we all made it out alive.
Yeah.
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 We all ended up in a good place. Terrell now just got an award. I don't know if you know this, for a film he just did
Yeah.
called Kate. He got Best Cinematography, as well as a directorial honorable mention. So his career is really starting to kick in. He has a degree in film as well. He's an amazing writer. Mad is still doing his thing. He's gone through a lot. As you saw in the movie, he had a stroke. He's I ride motorcycles. He's my mechanic. So it was hard for him not to be able to ride motorcycles again. Larry has his own company, which is a company that fixes appliance. They call him the Appliance Doctor, a very successful business. Sally just moved back to Los Angeles. She's got her own place now. And she's doing really well. Unfortunately, we lost Duval, but his spirit, his children still come out to skate with us. They're family to us, and everything that had happened to us has brought us to who we are and made us a lot stronger. And we are now still a very close-knit family, and we will be until the Lord takes us away.
Wow.
So one thing you said was that you guys learned a lot about each other through this documentary.
Yeah.
After the documentary, were you a little bit more open with each other about who you were and about your family life and things, or did you just go back to the skating?
We have never really pried into each other's business unless we were asked. We tried to keep our personal lives separate than Venice. Venice was a place where we could come and escape some of our reality. It was a fantasy for us. So after the movie, that was enough. That was pretty much enough. We knew enough about each other, though, because we experienced a lot of our life with each other, but we never really spoke about it, and we didn't speak about it after. We didn't want to hash up any old memories that still may be emotional. We wanted to move on. We had our new skate area. We wanted to embrace what we had become and continue to move forward.
Gotcha. Nice. So tell us a little bit about your businesses, because you are an entrepreneur.
Oh, he has a long resume. He's a producer. He does videos. He's a line cook, security, music, cameraman. I'm trying to figure out what you don't do.
Look, I'm trying to work on my acting debut, as I've been mentioning a couple times. So if you got some movies that you want,
Washington's Son.
That's right. So if you have any roles for a pretty fly, handsome DJ.
Okay, Poetry in Motion Productions, Chop It Up Catering. I mean, this brother does it all. Like,
well, my mother taught me never put all your eggs in one basket.
That is true.
And she was a entrepreneur as well as a pioneer. You see Sunshine Manor. My mother actually started that. She was the very first person to ever house people that had mental disabilities. So she opened up this home in the Los Angeles community. At one time, you could either you were in an insane asylum or you were heavily medicated in a vegetative state. So in the 70s, they started wanting to release people out of these hospitals because of the money. But they were sending them home, and they were then if they didn't get their medication at 8, 12, 4, and 8, they were running down the street buck naked, fucking crazy. So my mother found that these families couldn't take care of these individuals when they were sent home because they had to go to work and what have you, and they needed supervision that was a little more relaxed. So my mother started opening up homes called Sunshine Manor, Sunshine Terrace. She would buy large facilities, and she was an African American woman, which was difficult back in those days. Back in the 50s to get money. So she went to a private lender, and they started helping her buy these facilities. And she turned out to be a very successful person. And she started dipping and dabbing in all kinds of things, real estate, this, that. And she always had some money coming in. She was a hustler. My father worked for Ford Motor Company for 40 years. He showed me how you stick with something for a long time. There's your solid base. My mother was the entrepreneur. She was, they were a great match. Married all their life. And so at this time of my life, I became an entrepreneur. I inherited things, I was a blessed young man. And I was adopted. A cool story about me, actually. I was adopted when I was 2 years of age.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Never met my whole family. Was introduced to the rich family at the age of 2, and they
Mhm.
took me in. Two sisters and a brother.
Mhm.
Um, and I was never treated as anything else. And so I was able to live in a decent life, a decent lifestyle. My mother again was an entrepreneur. She became a self-made millionaire. Uh,
Mhm.
a black African woman in those days, which was very difficult to
Yeah,
do,
yeah,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
she became this pioneer. And she taught me be a pioneer. You know, if
Mhm.
you're gonna do, there's two ways to be a CEO. You can either start from the bottom and climb your way to the top and get that gold watch in the air. You can start your own company and be the
Mhm.
CEO day one.
Mhm.
And so I
Hey.
started my own companies, and so I got into culinary arts with my brother. I got into. He just did 20 years. In the film you saw that my brother had gone through a lot of stuff. He did 20
Mhm.
years,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and when he got out, he came out a chef. And
Mhm.
we both went to culinary school together. I did that because I wanted to spend some time with someone that had been taken away from me for so many years
Yeah.
Mhm.
in this system that
Right.
was supposed to be fixing people, but really what they were doing was enslaving them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I went to school with him. Terrell became in film, and Terrell and I are very close. And I was like, I love film, so I went back to film school and got my degree, my certification in film,
Mhm.
degree in film. And so Terrell and I started Poetry and Motion Productions, PIMP Productions, Pimp
Hey.
Productions.
Hey,
Because you're either a
PIMP.
pimp or a hoe,
Hey.
choose your place, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
So I decided, to be that. So I want to be an executive producer. We've done short films, all kinds of stuff, and now we're really getting into that more. I am starting BuckWIld Skates again. I would like to put out clothing line as well as
Mhm.
clothing that's good for skaters, elbow pads and shirts, things like that,
Mhm.
things that keep people safe, as well as a quality product to a quality company that makes skates and put my BuckWIld name on it. Let you know
Hey,
that if you put these on your feet, you better come correct.
that you
You
finna
know,
get buck wild.
you got to get BuckWIld.
Who gave you the
And
name BuckWIld, or was that from your?
well, I was wild.
Mhm.
Well,
As they
yeah.
told you also in the interview, I was organized confusion. I
Yeah.
was
Okay.
all over the
Yeah, he
place.
did call
Okay,
it that.
He did say that.
I was a tornado, man. And but one of the things that did for me was it taught me how to stay off the ground. I made up a lot of moves. Terrell even said we made up moves by falling,
Uh-huh.
and so I didn't hold back. I went crazy on those skates.
Mhm.
I wanted to do something that nobody had done. I
Okay.
wanted to have control, which now I'm a very skilled skater. I can
Mhm.
tell my skates what to do.
Mhm.
They'll
Mhm.
do what I say.
Mhm.
Usually people get in skates, they put spaghetti legs, they again, like I
Mhm.
Mhm.
started,
Mhm.
Mhm.
they're falling all over the place. And I made it a passion, and I made it a point to make sure that I taught those skates what to do and gave them the respect that they deserve.
There you go.
Wow.
Respect them
And
skates. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
and so I now at this point, as BuckWild, whenever I walk into a skating rink and I start doing any of our routines, the line dance, all of those things, people are coming up to me and they're looking for hope. They're
Mhm.
looking
Mhm.
for a way to increase their ability. And it's my responsibility in this community, I feel, to give them that love and help them uh, advance in
Right.
Yeah.
something that can change their life. I want them to have an amazing experience on skates. So I started the company BuckWild Skates. I'm setting the whole situation up, which I will be distributing skates from all different types of manufacturers, all different types of parts. There's skate websites and stuff out there as well. I am trying to go and get my own skate, though, maybe design a skate
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
is particular to choreography, dance skate, jam skate, things like that.
Okay.
But my site will be selling all different types of skates, of course. Um, but I just want to put my mark out there. If
Yeah.
everybody else, I see people that have been skating for a year making companies
Oh
Yeah.
and
yeah.
doing this for 40
Mhm.
Definitely.
plus years. I, I,
Definitely.
Mhm.
I have the right to step into this arena
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I don't want to say capitalize off of it,
Mhm.
though I am a capitalist.
Mhm.
Okay.
I want to take some of this money and put it back into the skate community.
Mhm.
I have a nonprofit organization that I'm starting as well. I want to help some of, like in Venice, I want to help some of the homeless. We have the Venice Skate Dance Association as
Okay.
well. And Terrell is the president of that. And
Mhm.
we want to help some of the community as well in Venice, the homeless community and what have you, and give back to some of the people that, you know, that were there for us,
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what?
So,
As a skater who's been skating for a long time, there comes a point in your life where you really want to give back to the community because you realize that's how you keep the community going. Because I've
absolutely.
been skating for 30 plus years. And with Skaters Connect, I just kind of felt like I wanted to give back to the community because there was, first off, there was something that was missing. And so, in order to find out what's missing, sometimes you have to dive into it so it can be
Mhm.
exposed. And so with this platform now, now we have a platform where we can talk to people such as yourself
Mhm.
who have paved the way for, even though I wasn't in Venice Beach and I don't
Mhm.
live out there, you still paved the way
Mhm.
for me,
Yeah, yeah,
through the stuff that you have done.
Mhm.
The people from Venice Beach, because at the end of the day, it's a ripple effect. And I don't
yeah,
think sometimes people realize that. Even though you're on the East Coast, that doesn't mean that you did not have an effect
Yeah.
on the West Coast. You know,
absolutely.
if what you say affects at least one person out of 1,000, that one person is going to affect another person out of 1,000. And it just keeps going. Then you have that ripple effect. So I'm definitely grateful. But, like you said, you wanted to do something because you've paid your dues, you know.
Yeah,
So, and you realize, hey, you know what? I think it's time for me to give back to the community. So this is your way of giving
yes,
back to the community. So
yes,
we greatly appreciate.
Very admirable.
Right.
Yeah.
We
yeah,
greatly appreciate you. We appreciate all the other skaters
Yeah.
out there that are venturing out and trying to give something to the community
Mhm.
because as you mentioned, you have to pay it forward. And the only way to keep the
absolutely.
culture alive is by paying it forward.
I'm taken by how the world is taken onto this. This isn't now just America, because skating was well known, of course, in America, but now you got Barcelona, you got
Yeah.
Japan. The movie when I've been getting responses from all over the world. My people are my Facebook is maxed out. My IG is blowing up because of it.
hmm
I'm at. Let me go ahead and plug. It's BuckWIld J Rich JRICH BuckWIld one word, as well as BuckWild's at BuckWild Skates is my IG.
hmm
You can see BuckWild Skates on Facebook as well. James Rich is my name. Can't get on that page though; that's maxed out. And but I've gotten messages from people all around the world saying how I've inspired and how Venice Beach and some of my friends at all the rinks have inspired people to take up skating. People who haven't been doing it at all. I got 40, 50-year-old people putting on skates out there. I'm like, be careful.
You're right.
You're still brittle. You get brittle. But people are trying to do something now that they have wanted to do since they were a kid.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
everybody skated when they were a kid and then they stopped because
hmm
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden they're inspired to do this again. Exercise is a great way to exercise. You got 2 to 3 pounds on each foot. People are starting to get into this health craze a little bit, and this is an integral part about it because you can go play basketball, but you got to play against people a lot of times. It's
Right.
competitive, it's dangerous. This is one of those things where you can just throw them on, put on some headphones, and
It's
get
on.
going
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
started,
Yeah.
and you can do it on your own, or you can do it with a group of people. So it's been inspiring people all around the world. And the response that I'm getting from people is heartwarming. And I encourage anybody who's watching this, or anybody, give it its respect.
hmm
Go out there and enjoy it, and you're never too old or young to do it. It's cool. A lot of people thought, oh, that ain't all
Yeah.
cool. It's
Yeah. Like y'all
cool to
skate for
skate.
real.
Okay, you can
hmm
be cool
hmm
and go to your skating rink. Uh, Invest in a pair of skates. Now they're not cheap. A skate pair of skates, three to
Yeah.
$500.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Now
so
it's
is a
kind of hard to find them.
bicycle. So is all the other sporting things, the clothing you got. if you can invest in a good pair of skates, don't get some cheap skates.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons why I'm going to put out a quality skate.
Mhm.
It may cost you a little bit, but you'll be able to keep it for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And I've told people that the thing about skates, I'm going to explain skates to people real quick as far as my way of talking
Yeah,
about.
go ahead. Yeah.
You have skates like a Rydell or a Short Grip or all these skate companies out there that make them. But what you want to look for is the quality in the skate.
Mm-hmm.
One of the qualities in a skate is the sole, the heel.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a rubber heel or a plastic heel, it is a giving material.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
In other words, when you make a move, the skate boot can do this
Mm-hmm.
before the other part catches up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a rubber heel, rubber is flexible.
Mm-hmm.
My suggestion, if you're going to have a skate that's going to do what your feet tell them to do, get a wooden base.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because wood is solid. It moves. It doesn't
Mhm.
flex. When you move it, it
Mhm.
goes with you.
Mhm.
You knock
Mhm.
somebody upside the head with it, it's going to hurt. Rubber, it moves. You know what I'm saying? So when you get a heel of a boot, you want to make sure that heel is solid, because when your foot moves, you don't want the foot to move and the bottom piece to not go or
Okay.
have a delayed reaction. So you want
Mhm.
a good solid heel. So when you move, it moves at the
Mhm.
same time.
Gotcha.
So you don't want to get a cheap skate with a rubber or
Mhm.
plastic heel. You also want to get a solid piece of leather. You
Mhm.
don't want
Yeah.
some Nike skates and all that. I know it sounds crazy,
Yeah. You want
but
that
they
pleather.
do not support your ankle. You want
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
good, solid boot,
Mhm.
something that has a thick leather so that when you move, it does what you tell it to. Because
Mhm.
if you do this and the skate doesn't, you're going to go straight into something.
Mhm.
You want
Mhm.
it to go where you tell it to go. And that's how you learn how to become a good skilled skater as well. You
Mhm.
want good wheels, depending on the surface that you're going to be skating on. You want to make sure you have a hardness or a softness that can take the impact. You want a good plate, a light plate. You don't want something that's so heavy and clunky that your feet it's hard to pick your feet up. You want
Mhm.
something that is light and airy, a alloy plate, something that's solid, that
Mhm.
has a good pin, good bushings, good depending on what it is you're trying to do, make sure you get a skate built for that particular thing, or
Yeah.
else you're just
Yeah.
out there making a mess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's one of my goals with BuckWIld skates, is to make sure that I bring a quality skate to individuals that are going to be doing a specific thing. Really, I'm going to be paying attention to the dance skate world.
Mhm.
I want to make
Okay.
sure they have a solid skate, so when they're in rinks, they have a solid skate that doesn't just, that doesn't have you skating all over the place. It's going to require you to better your skills in order to make sure that, but you're going to do things that are going to, you're not
Give
even going to
Yeah.
people
fathom
Yeah.
what
chills.
you can do.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing spins. You're going to be, and
Yeah.
your feet are going to do what you tell them to. And if you have control over your body, you can take you anywhere you want to go.
So have you found some of the materials that you just mentioned on how you want your skate? Have you already
I'm
started the
talking to skate
process?
companies. I'm talking to skate companies now, trying to figure out which one is worthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
You know what I'm
interesting what
saying?
you.
You're gonna have to earn this one.
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
it's interesting what you said about skates, because I think some people don't consider that. It's like, depending on your style
Mm.
of skating may determine the type of skate you actually need.
absolutely.
And
It's just
people,
like basketball. You're not
right,
running around with some low tops. You need some
Yeah.
high top. You need a good shoe. It's anything like cleats. You can't. You're
hmm,
not on the football field with some flat, Chuck Taylors.
right,
you
right,
know, you need
right,
some cleats.
right,
So
right.
depending on what style of skating you're going to be doing will depend on the type of boot
Hmm.
that you want to get. And again, you want to invest in it. You can
Yes.
buy $100 skates, you can buy 5 of them, or you can
Hmm.
buy $500 pair of skates and buy
Hmm.
one.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So it's
mhm,
invest in this craft.
right,
Yes.
right. Yeah, that's funny, because I've tell some people ask me like, well, how much was your skates? And I'm just like, I really couldn't tell you, because mine are kind of like custom built. It was like piece
Yeah.
by piece by piece. I had to get what fit my style. And when
One
you
second.
finally find it, and when you finally find it,
Mhm.
you find it.
Mm.
And that's why I think I've been able to. I've had these skates for over 14 years,
So how do you
And
decide? Like when you got the boot,
you
yeah,
just
but then
feel it.
you
You just feel it when
okay.
you try out different wheels and the way that you skate. You can be like, nah, these wheels ain't gonna work for me. So then you try
Woo!
something else. Oh, nice, nice.
This is the BuckWIld skate.
Hey.
Oh, hey. So we're getting an exclusive
Alloy
look right
plate.
now.
220 Rydell boot.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Bones wheels.
Hey, there you go,
Okay.
Bones.
Bones.
Yeah,
BuckWIld Bones. Hopefully, I'm talking to Bones. Bones, if you hear me, BuckWIld Bones.
there you go.
BuckWIld
Come on,
boots.
Bones. Come on.
So that
BuckWIld.
boot has a
But
wooden
this is a
heel.
solid skate. This skate cost me $500. One of the best purchases I've ever made.
Mm.
Custom built for me. They also called me duct tape.
Oh,
Because I duct taped the front of them. Because I will tear a hole in the boot in 2 weeks.
Oh,
Zip.
man.
Because I'm all over the place. But
Duct
this is
tape
a
is
Rydell
everything.
220. I consider Rydell one of the best skates out there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
okay.
they were well known in the community of ice skating at one time. If you know an ice
Right,
skater, he has to land on
right.
a blade. So if
Yeah.
this boot better be solid when he comes down onto that
Yeah,
ice.
Mhm.
And so
definitely.
Rydell is very well known for making a very solid heel,
Mhm.
solid, thick, leathered skate, so that when they make those landings, their ankle doesn't twist.
Right.
Doesn't, you know? So, and that's why I skate in the Rydell boot. I've tried all different types of plates, whatever your preference is. Again,
Mhm.
I do
Mhm.
like the hard wheels because I'm doing some high performance, high precision types moves, sit spins, things like that. I can't have soft wheels. I skate on wood and concrete. I don't
Mhm.
skate on anything that's not worthy. And so
Mm.
you have to make sure that you invest in a good skate. That's one of
Mhm.
the most important things to me. Getting out there and skating is one thing, but making sure you have a quality product under you is definitely a must.
So does
There
your
you go.
boot, that boot that you have there, that has a wooden heel?
Absolutely.
Okay. And
Never, ever, ever have I skated on a rubber. I tried it once, and it was like driving a car that has like low tires or
okay, so
something.
you mean
Yeah.
after
You
that
take a
Mhm.
first
turn, the
pair of
car goes
blue
great, and
and
then
what do you
eventually
say,
it
blue and
turns.
orange?
Yep. Blue and
Yeah,
yellow
After your first
yeah,
blue and
yeah.
yellow
The
pair,
blue
you
and
never
yellows, yeah.
with the racing stripe.
blue
Big
and
old
yellow, blue and
wheels, yeah.
yellow.
It took me really once I started getting good at this. Once I put on a good pair of skates, I never went back.
Mhm.
Okay.
Same thing with my car. I drive a high performance car. When I say turn, I want it to turn.
I know
You
that's
know,
Hey,
right.
hey.
I want it to do what I tell it to. I don't want it to have a mind of its own.
So
Mhm.
your plate, was that was the boot all Rydell? Or did you put your own plate? Because I was just asking our Cole, like, because he did his custom. Like, how do you decide which plate? So did you change the
This is
plate?
a short grip plate, but I just invested also in a power dime that Rydell makes.
Mhm.
I wanted to try that plate as well. I'm trying different plates now a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm experimenting. I have several pair of skates, so I build a pair of skates from the ground up. This skate
Okay.
will never be changed. It'll remain a short grip plate,
Mhm.
Bones wheels, Rydell 220. I'm going to get another boot, which will be a 197 or 1100,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll throw the power dime on that. I have different skates for different arenas as well. So if I'm going to
Okay.
skate indoor on a wooden floor, I might have a different pair of skate. So, but I test them all out. I'm reaching out to all of you skate companies. If you want to
Hey.
get somebody that can really tell you whether or not your product is good, whether or not it needs to be improved, whether or
Mhm.
not I can help you design it, you need to reach out to BuckWIld because I
There
got
you go.
this.
There you
This is
go.
what I
Okay.
do.
And also for the other skaters out there who may be listening who actually has an inside scoop into with some of these companies,
Yeah.
pass the information along.
Yes.
Share the
Please
information.
do.
Because
Please
again,
do.
this is about the community and pushing it forward. So we have to
Mm-hmm.
work together in order to make this
Mm-hmm.
thing happen. So
I'm an open book. I'm always open. If anybody out there is in Venice or in the Los Angeles area, you can also go to my Instagram. I have tutorials on skating. I have
Mhm.
what's called the BuckWIld Hustle.
Mhm.
It's really a beginner, intermediate, and advanced portion of a routine.
Mhm.
It starts you out on your feet, gets you
Mm-hmm.
moving, moves up your body to your hips, to your arms, all the way up to your head.
Mhm.
If you go to my IG, you can see that. It's called the BuckWIld Hustle Beginner and Intermediate. I am doing the advanced portion now, but you got a lot to do before you get to the advanced.
Hey,
So you got to
You got to
come
be able to do
correct for
sit
that one.
spins, alphas, all that kind of stuff. You got
you
to
gotta
be a
put that work
professional
in.
skater.
Hey,
Yeah,
But
you
that
gotta pay that
the
work
beginner
in.
is an amazing part of the routine that really gets you moving on your skates left
Mhm.
to right. Then once you start getting to the intermediate portion of the routine, it starts teaching you spins, cross leg
Oh,
spins. You start to move up in your level of skating, and those are great starting points. The BuckWIld routine, BuckWIld beginner, and BuckWIld intermediate hustle.
Nice, nice, nice.
so where have you skated out? I mean, other than Venice Beach, have you skated in other states and internationally?
Maybe I have traveled the world.
Okay,
That's
now tell
good.
us so. Do
Skating
tell.
did something for me that I never thought it would do.
Uh-huh.
I've traveled the world. A majority of my traveling, I have never spent a dime.
That's
I
Wow.
great.
traveled the world for free. I
Wow.
got off the plane coming home with more money in my pocket than I left.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay?
That's what I'm
I have
talking about.
met people from all over the world in Venice that have welcomed me to their countries. I've been to
Perfect.
Japan, Europe, India, you name it. And when I get there, I got somebody waiting for me at the airport to pick me up and say, "You staying with us? Get a
Okay.
hotel.
That's
You
what I'm
hanging
talking
out with
about.
us. We
Yeah.
taking you all over the place. We're gonna take you to where we skate. We're gonna show you the ropes." I skated all over the United States. I've been with different crews that have skated, Rolling Thunder. I've done tours to. I started in Alabama. I've gone through all the South. I mean, some
Okay.
places where I was not supposed to be. Okay, and skated in every single rink. We took a car for a month and a half and went to every single rink, all through Florida, all through Mississippi, all through
Okay.
the Texas. And so, yeah, I've skated in many hundreds and hundreds of skating rinks. And when I walk in the door and I start doing what I do, I stop a crowd.
That's what I'm talking about.
The crowd stopper.
That's what
All
I'm
of a
talking
sudden,
about.
you got the DJ going, "Please stop standing in the skating rink." And me and my crew come in. We let people know this. You can take this skill and this craft and this amazing joy to another level. And that's when all of a sudden, so when I see people, when I go online, I see people doing a line dance, or seeing somebody doing the hustle, or seeing them doing something that we created, it touches me dearly because
Yeah, right.
that means that we made an impact. We've done
That's
something
dope.
great.
That's
Yeah.
dope. Now I'm about to be nosy real quick, because we're actually about to run out of time. I'm about to be nosy. Behind you, on your wall, you have a statement. I'm trying to tell what it is. It says, "Today
I will be my own
I will be my own." And what was the word of it? What's the?
hero.
Today, I will be my own hero.
There you go. There you go. I like that.
Today,
statement.
I will take control. When I started taking control of my life and doing what I wanted to do with my life, one of my sayings is, if you do not do what you love, you're depriving the whole world of what they truly deserve from you.
Amen.
Yeah.
You understand what that means?
Yes,
That
sir.
means that if you don't do what's in your heart, and you will not give it 100%. If you go work for somebody else, you're only living somebody else's dream. You're not going to put 100% into that, and the people that deal with you are not going to get all of you.
Right.
Do what you love.
Yeah.
You are going to succeed in it. You're going to make money in it. You're going to be able to survive off of it. And everybody out there that is in contact with you is going to get all of you. And that's what the people deserve. They deserve all of BuckWIld, all of Jimmy Rich. They deserve all of Skaters Konnect. They deserve what's in your heart.
Yeah,
and I really give you guys credit for doing something like what you're doing by letting some of the people that are out there that really love this craft talk about it to everybody and tell people their story, because everybody has one. And a lot of those people out there that don't get to tell it get to relate to it because of what Skaters Konnect is out there doing by allowing people that are known in this community to say what they have to say. And they're like, yeah, I feel the same way. You know, I thought I was the only one. No, you are not. You know, there's a lot of us that have the love and the passion for this sport.
Well, that's dope.
And so thank you.
And we're honored for you guys that you even this is a platform, but without your stories, it's just a platform.
Right.
So we're honored that you guys are even willing to share all of you with us.
It's a team. It's teamwork.
That's right. Teamwork make the dream work.
There you go. There you go. So what's next for you?
Skate. I'm still skating, man. Until these knees give out, they're trying. You know. I am again doing. I have my board and care facility. I own properties. I'm in real estate investor, and I wanted to really push my BuckWIld skates. Again, I have Sunshine Manor Board and Care Facility. I like to take care of people that are less fortunate, as well as have disabilities that they have no control over. I want to make. I believe that people out there a lot of times, either when they get inebriated in some kind of way, and I'm sober, clean. I've been since January 1st, 2019.
Nice.
I stopped drinking. I used to smoke weed, all that stuff. And I stopped doing everything. I really wanted to start taking control of my life because I was blessed. I inherited some things that made it possible for me to, step my game up a little bit. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't screw it off. My mother's looking down on me right now, and my father's looking down on me, and they gave me something to work with. And I told them that I was not going to mess it off. So I am an entrepreneur. I have my own board and care facility to take care of people that have disabilities. Their alcohol, things like that, And then, of course, I had to go back into my skate community and give back to my skate community. You will see me at a rink in your area. I travel all over the place. I'm going to come to your rink. When you see me, come up and say something to BuckWIld.
Right.
Say, teach me something, or I'm going to come to you and I'm going to tell you to teach me something because I'm still learning. I'm learning until the day I die.
There you go.
And so I'm really trying to do that. I'm also still in film. Terrell and I are getting ready to come out with hopefully little BuckWIld kids. It's kind of like little bad kids for skateboarders, roller skaters, inline skaters, ice skaters. We want to take a crew of kids and kind of like, the Fat Alberts or the Bebe's kids,
That's
a
cool.
mixture.
Starring DJ R. Cole.
The BuckWIld.
Kids.
But that doesn't mean that it's just gonna be
he can
kids.
be the daddy. He gonna be somebody daddy.
No, you're gonna be surprised at what these kids do. They actually, everybody thinks that there's these little bad kids, but what they're doing is they're going out and they're doing things and discovering things in their community that people haven't really been paying attention to. You're gonna get a child's view of some of the things, because I found that children, that youngsters are the truth.
Yes, they are.
Haven't been painted by a lot of things, and so they're not followers a lot of times. They're actually our leaders.
Yes, they are.
Especially some of these youngsters that are coming up now. They say what's on their mind. They don't hold back, and they will give you the truth. And so that's what these little BuckWIlds do.
Okay.
They're going to start opening up communities to things that they see, like asking questions. Why is this going on? Why is that guy over there on the corner doing this? Why, if they're going to ask questions that people are going to have to start answering. And so that's what the little kids are going to be doing. You think they're these little bad kids in the neighborhood that are doing ding dong ditch and all that stuff. Ding dong, this person on the guy that's a child molester or something like that. They discovered something, and they are opening it up, and they're going to go into these communities and reveal some things.
That's pretty dope.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's dope, because kids are kids. I have a 5-year-old, and he talks a lot. He's very inquisitive, but he is very intelligent, and he hasn't been tainted by a lot of stuff, and you can tell from his conversation.
And they tell the truth, like
they
it's
do.
just because it's just so organic. Like they just tell the truth, and the questions.
They don't know anything else.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't. So that's really dope. So, reiterate again for us real quick before we leave. How can the skaters get connected with you?
So you can,
besides Facebook, because you maxed out.
You can go to my Facebook. You can always messenger me. Again, I have people constantly saying, where are you going to be skating this weekend? I'll make sure that in my forums, I let people know where we're going to be. The different. I like what Skaters Konnect also does. Tells about some of the different events that are going on out there. And so you can go to at BuckWIld J Rich, BuckWild JRICH. That's my personal. And you can go to BuckWIld Skates, BuckWild SKATES, BuckWIld Skates, and you'll see a lot of the stuff that we're doing. A lot of the skating community that I skate with out at different parks, North Hollywood Park, all the way to Venice Beach. They are repaving Venice Beach. We have the nonprofit organization, Venice Skate Dance Association, went out and got monies from different individuals around the world through crowdfunding sources. and we have a new surface being built, a very smooth surface that is not slanted or anything like that.
Mhm.
So we want, when you come to Venice Beach, you're gonna have a really good surface to skate on. And so whenever you see me, if I'm at a rink or whatever, please come say hello to me. Please come ask me, to either teach you something, show you something, or just, come show your love. I really would
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
it.
That's dope.
Okay.
That's dope. Well, we greatly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
Yes.
It was a pleasure. It was an honor to have you on
Mhm.
here. I know I'm
It's
gonna be,
likewise.
yeah, I'm gonna be excited to put your interview out there so people
Yes.
can hear your story and hear some of the things that you've encountered and just some of the
We could
event.
have been doing this for hours. I got stories.
Oh yeah, yeah. Trust me. There,
We know.
yeah, there
Part
is.
two.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of interviews that we've done, and we're like, okay, we need to do a part two.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, we'll definitely be looking into
Go
that
out and
for you.
see Roller Dreams, folks.
Yes.
You can see it on
Yes.
Hulu. You can see it on Amazon
Hmm.
Prime. There's several different sources. If you IMDb it, or if you just go into your browser and punch in Roller Dreams, it'll tell you all the locations that you can see it. Go see all these skate movies. Go
Yeah,
Yes.
support all of
definitely.
these skate movies out
Yes.
here. They all
Hmm.
have a great story, and they all deserve respect.
All
Amen to
right.
that. Amen to that. You guys heard it from the man himself.
That's right.
So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Those who are
Mhm.
watching, we appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, we
We
will
will
see
see you
you on
on
the
the
wood.
wood.